What in the 20s is going
in the
on?
20s?
Think about
Yeah.
the 20s.
What
Baby,
plenty, plenty.
What in the 20s is
I
going
am
on?
here for my
20s, baby. This is the 20s.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Zamam Kize, and this is What's in the 20s, a podcast where you listen to me grow through its baby. Guys, I'm geeking. Like, today's episode is so, I don't know, it's just everything I wanted and more. I'm sitting here with author and entrepreneur, Duduzile Ngwenya. Hey.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks, Zama. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Good.
I can see that. You guys should see that. I wish you guys could see it because I am seeing it on your behalf.
The moment when I saw you coming, I'm like, oh, this is really happening. Like, this is.
It is. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
It is.
I'm normally,
right?
as I told you, I'm normally doing like radio interviews or TV interviews.
Yeah.
So this is like the first podcast where it's like we're sitting down and it's in the studio and, you know,
we're trying to chat.
Cool. We're trying to chat and you know what?
I'm trying to get
I am
into
enjoying this. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to pick your
so
brain. I want to like just know what you're all about.
All right, go easy
like
on me, go. Go easy now, all
Sorry,
right?
So I'm having a moment,
All
yo.
right.
I guess to begin, if you could just briefly talk us through who you are, you know, I think it'll be a nice, like, just a starting point. Who is Nolene?
So Nolene is a writer, someone who expresses herself in writing. She expresses her emotions, her thoughts, her experiences as well, best in writing poetry, to be specific. And the reason why she fell in love with poetry is because she finds it to be so artsy, you know? Like, say you're art without actually saying that you're art, and that's poetry. You can literally say 1,000 things in just a few words, you know? I don't have to write a whole paragraph. I'm a paragraph person, man.
Really?
Yes, in a relationship, in a talking stage, I'm a paragraph person. But.
No. Yes.
But
express yourself, I guess.
Yes. But really, in my writing, I prefer to be like short and brief because I know that with me, I really struggle with reading books that have just a lot of words, long texts and stuff.
Really?
So I felt that writing something that's going to be easy for me as well to write, I could read one page and it's deep enough for me to meditate upon the whole day. It's deep enough for me to ask myself questions, to introspect and those things, you know? So anyway, that is me as a writer, you know? Generally as a person, I'd like to believe that I'm a sensitive person. It's
I know it.
Very easy to hurt me, you know, and I am really not saying this so that people can like literally poke, you know, but I know that it's very easy to hurt me. I sympathize with people a lot. I am emotional. I am a crier, girl. Like, could be watching a TV show and there's something sad happening. I'm going to feel the tears coming. Yeah. I am that person. If anything sad happens on TV, I've always been that person. You know, and you know, growing up in this world, you know, I feel like the world is really harsh on people who are sensitive, and it's most people who have like that thick skin, people who really just get through everything and they looking like they're not faced. Yes, you know, and people are like, dude, really, that was not that deep, but it was deep to me. It was deep to me, and now you're really making me feel like I'm crazy right now, you know? So I am that person, and at the same time, I feel like I'm a giver. I'm a firstborn girl child, by the way. So, you know, firstborns, pray for us and fast for us, do everything for us, really.
Much.
You know, everything, yeah.
Wait, hold on. I've heard so much about like firstborn, because I'm like the last born. Yeah, I'm the secondborn, but it's like...
You're lucky.
I've heard about, like, what is it? Is it just like a whole sense of responsibility?
It is. I feel like as soon as you're the firstborn, it's just that thing which you're not even taught how to be that way. You just grow up being this person. I'm a perfectionist, and perfectionism comes with being an anxious person. It comes with procrastination because I fear failure. It comes with me wanting things to be perfect, and perfectionism is really just an illusion. Nothing is perfect. We are not perfect, and things are never perfect. So trying to make sense of why are things not perfect as someone who wants them to be just from your actions, from the way you do things. So I'm constantly in the process of unlearning perfectionism and looking at myself as more like a work in progress rather.
Sure.
And always being the person who takes care of people. I am a caretaker naturally. That is why I'm saying even in relationships, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm mentioning relationships like for the third time and we're not even 10 minutes into it. But I'm really just going to say this because I can feel it. I feel it. It's just going to come out. You know, I cannot be with someone who is not a caretaker. I cannot be with someone who is not thoughtful, who is not considerate. It has to be someone who is like me. Otherwise, it's just going to feel more like all the other relationships, friendships, and everything I've had where I've had to pour myself into them and never got anything in return. So I'm very sensitive about that.
So what, you'd even like overextend?
Yes, exactly.
No.
And that comes from being a caretaker. It also comes from being a perfectionist. You just want things to be perfect. You want to feel accepted. You want to feel loved. So those are all the things that I write about, because I go through them, you know. And actually me saying it right now, I feel so proud because fighting perfectionism is hard. And to some extent, you end up feeling like I should be perfect. I shouldn't be going through this. I shouldn't be having to deal with this. I shouldn't be having these habits, you know. But I have them. I want to be accepted. I seek validation sometimes. And I'm trying by all means to seek that validation from myself or from God, our Father, you know. And I am trying by all means every day. I'm trying, what habits do I need to learn? What habits do I need to unlearn? Anything that sort of like hinders my growth as a person, as an author, I need to remove it. And everything like that, it really takes time, and it takes self-love as well, which is like a lifetime commitment.
How do you essentially forgive yourself for the fact that you're responsible, that you overextended in certain situations? You're responsible for the fact that you poured more even when you shouldn't have. And it's like learning how to actually be like, okay, I actually need to give myself grace for that. But you feel so like, I need to unlearn this habit. Like you're trying to just be like, I need to change. But it's like, you also need to give yourself that grace that like, this is
exactly
who you are. But like, how do you, because I struggle with that, like forgiving myself. Like I just always feel like, Zama, you should have known better. Like anytime something happens, I always feel like I'm responsible for it. Like I should have done better in that situation. I don't know, is that something that's easier for you now?
No. It wasn't when I started writing my first book. 3 books later,
come on,
it's something I'm still struggling with. It is not easy to forgive yourself, because it's easier to forgive someone else who has wronged you, especially if you love that person. But when it comes to you, it's like, oh girl, you should have known. Like, how did you not know? How did you allow this to happen more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times? How could you do that? The pattern. How do you keep allowing the pattern? So the forgiving yourself, it starts from viewing yourself as someone you love as well. Because it's easier for you to forgive people you love, right? So be the person that you love and try to justify what happened back then, as long as you're willing to learn from it and say, I am never allowing that to happen again. And also look at the fact that a lot of things, it's layers. Certain behaviors, habits, it's layers of traumas and experiences that we've had and things that people have said to us. You know, yesterday on TikTok, I saw this poem. You know, the reason why I'm so obsessed with poetry, I saw this lady was reading this poem, and in it, she was really saying that sticks and stones will break, well, they won't break my bones, but they're really gonna break me. Words can actually break me. You say something, I'm gonna think about it for so long to the extent that I'm gonna start believing. Honestly, how we act and the things that we've done to ourselves and stuff, the things that we're struggling to forgive ourselves from, is it's not just something that happened in an instant. It's something that's built up somewhere. It's something that you are still in the process of learning and healing from. The most important part is healing from it. And really, you cannot heal from things if you have not really seen that, oh, actually, I have a scar here. I have a wound here. You know, you have to see it, recognize it, and accept it, that it's there. It's part of who you are now. You can only just embrace it, keep tapping it, make sure that you're gentle when you get to that part. You know, you're not going to be cut by a knife on the finger and then you just wash your hands like roughly as you would normally do if you didn't get a cut on your hand. You're very gentle around that part. So it's really
You know, that's the thing I'm thinking about. Like, there's this poem you wrote about how healing sometimes feels so far and so like you just have to sit in that discomfort. And I think that's something I think about all the time is like this idea of glamorizing healing, that like it's just, oh guys, like let's just
oh no,
I'm in my healing
please.
era, like this and that, how you just put up boundaries and stuff, but it's actually the most excruciating process I think I've ever gone through, and the most uncomfortable, you know, because now you're recognizing that something needs to change, and like changing like your habits and your routines is so difficult because like you know you think you've changed and you've healed until you're in a space where you're triggered, right? Until you're confronted with something,
and then you go back all the way back. Now we're like, okay, wow, it's like every day you're starting from scratch.
That's what it feels like. And that's so, for example, right now there's something like grief is something I'm trying to heal with and deal with. And I feel like certain days I'm on top of the world, like I'm just doing so great, and then this one thing will just remind me of my mom, and I actually
I'm so sorry.
I feel like I'm spiraling and I'm losing my mind and I don't know what to do, and then I get so upset with myself, like, Zama, I thought we were making progress, you know, like, Zama, I thought we were at a better place, that you know. And that's also precisely why I love like the title of your book, that like you get better with love, and that you actually scratched out time. Because when I lost my mom, everybody kept telling me, "Some just give it time,
just give time." And you look at time, I mean, time, it's literally every second you literally, okay, it's still not better, you know. I'm not better.
Exactly.
It's 2 weeks later, it's 2 months later, it's 6 months.
In fact, I was getting progressively worse. Like it felt like the numb, like you start numbing yourself from the fact of the shock, like it wears off, and now you're feeling everything to its intensity. It feels so amplified and everything that I was like, time isn't healing what I'm experiencing, you know. And when I thought of, you know, the concept of like you get better with love, I just thought of, oh, so now in this season I actually have to learn different ways of pouring love back into me, because I feel like something has been taken from me, you know. And that's what I find so but yeah, what was your inspiration for why you crossed out time, you know, with the title?
Well, for me, love is very broad. Love is patience, love is grace, it's mercy, and it's risky. It's like it really has all these attributes. And I feel like if you're saying there's love, then literally you have everything. In love, you have time, you have everything. So if you are getting better with love, then it means that you're going to be patient with the time. You are going to be graceful. You're going to give yourself, you're going to extend the same grace that you would give to someone else that you love.
Sure.
You take yourself as, put yourself there, and then you are the person that is going through grief, and you love this person. You're just gonna do everything to make sure that they are not beating themselves up. They don't feel like they're taking too long to heal, and it's really just okay. You are there for them, so you just be that person, and that is what is hard. That's the thing about love. Love is very hard, you know. As people,
and we don't talk about it. Hey,
we don't. Love is hard. It's hard. Well, on other people, it's hard on you as well. But when you are getting better with love, it's a matter of changing the way you view things. It's a matter of changing the way you view time as well. Like, you don't wait, like, okay, now it's been 3 months. How am I still feeling like this? No, you view it as it's been 3 months without someone that I've loved so much, someone I had such a huge attachment to, and now I have to learn to adjust to not being without that person. That's how you view it now. You no longer view it as, oh my gosh, I've been crying each and every night for the past 3 months.
Yeah.
You view it as, I've been crying for the past 3 months every night because I lost a big part and the most significant part of my life. And anybody would actually do the same thing if they were in my shoes. So it's completely okay. This is already hard enough. I don't need this kind of hardness for myself, like any extra hardness for myself. What I'm going through is already hard enough. And I am going to take it in pieces that I can take it in.
Yeah.
I am going to wait for it. I'm going to sit in it because no one else is going to go through it for me. This is my thing. I am going to deal with it at a pace that makes sense to me. Not it shouldn't be according to what other people are saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Maybe they grieved for a year and they were like, they were fine. And then it's a year later, you're still not okay. They shouldn't project whatever it is that they went through to your life.
Yeah.
You shouldn't also, they can do whatever they're saying. They can say, oh, dude, come and get over it. It's over, really, just move on, you know. But you don't have to internalize that.
Yeah.
You have to come back to yourself and say, but no, that one doesn't make sense to me. What makes sense to me is for me to continue going through this until I get to a point where I'm saying, now it's better. I can move on to something else, you know? So with the problem comes when we take everything that is outside and we internalize. We have no control whatsoever on what is going on outside of our bodies, outside of our minds. But as soon as we try and adopt everything else that is out there and try to put it in ourselves, we leave no space for us to feel whatever it is we want to feel, whatever it is that we think, however, whatever perceptive we have, you know, and it's really, that's what makes things hard.
I love something you said earlier about how you need to treat yourself like you're someone you love. And it reminds me of another poem that you already said, you are lovable to the extent of which you're able to love. Yes. And I don't know why that struck a chord in me, because it reminded me that, like, you know, very often we keep looking for love outside and stuff, but like we actually need to learn to be able to cultivate that in our, like, within ourselves and like around us. And I think that's what makes love easier to like receive also, because I also found that, like, even though I was constantly in search of love, like also receiving it was difficult for me. But I think it was because I didn't view myself as someone deserving, lovable. Lovable and all the rest. And that was like always such a disconnect. It was like, why? What's happening? Because I would work so hard to like achieve love. I'd write the paragraphs, I'd, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? But like, it's so crazy when you realize you're the starting point, you know, and
exactly.
I don't know why it took so many years to understand that. Like, the reason why I'm constantly also in these cycles was because I wasn't treating myself like someone I love. Like, the reason I was okay with accepting certain patterns and habits was because I was comfortable with disappointing myself. I was comfortable with hurting myself and being an inconvenience to myself, which is bizarre because you don't think of it in the moment. But it was like, when things were happening, I was like, Summer, you know what? Why aren't you changing? And it's like, because I feel safe in this, you know, in this comfort zone. Yeah. But like, I think only when you start, as you said, like, as you're able to love, things change. And I think there was also that fear of how many people will I lose in this change, you know, because like loving yourself might also mean learning to distance from people, you know, because now, you know, you have to, there's a different way that you have to pour into yourself, essentially. And that was always something that like I found difficult about loving myself, is like, I'm even recognizing conflict that will happen in my life and all of that. But like, it needs to happen because I need to put out boundaries. I need to like actually show up for me, because I think very often saying yes to someone else means saying no to me. And I just, when I think about, you know, you were mentioning it earlier, like the lovely thing about poetry is you don't have to write a whole paragraph for somebody to feel something. Like, you just literally said, you are lovable to the extent of which you're able to love.
That's the sentence. And it leaves you questioning a lot.
Your journey with self-love, do you feel like you're fulfilled with it, or is it still something you're kind of...
Girl, what?
Talk me through it.
My girl, this is, as we said, like, self-love is hard.
Sure.
And just when you think, oh, I've worked on that, you discover new things, because that's what self-love looks like. It looks like you constantly introspecting and not only looking for places that need healing within you, but also looking for places that need improvement or that need change. Because as you said, you mentioned something about how it's very easy to be comfortable with, or familiar with, inconvenience, with being hurt, with being put second, with not being loved right. It's very easy to be comfortable with that. Because somehow, because somehow that is the easiest. It's very easy for you to just stay there and like, well, he was always really gonna do this. He was always not gonna make effort. I saw it in the beginning. I saw it with my ex and the ex and that one and that one. And it's nothing new. I saw it coming. I don't know if that makes us feel better or what, but I don't know. Somehow it feels better to say, I saw it coming. But then the question is, if you saw it coming, why did you allow it? Now this shows that you are comfortable. You are, because you are familiar with it. So sometimes we tend to think that things that are, even if it's something that we need or we want, just because it's unfamiliar, we think it's wrong. Obviously, anything that you are not used to, it's gonna feel wrong, but it's not all the time where it's actually wrong, you know? Sometimes it's right, it's just unfamiliar and you have to familiarize yourself with it. You don't have to stay with what's hurting you, what's inconvenient for you any longer. As soon as you figure out that there's actually this kind that I like, you know, I'm just gonna make an example with friendships. I always thought that I am like that friend that, you know, I'm okay with, we can text like once in 3 months. I'm fine with that.
With the low maintenance.
Yeah, I'm like
fish.
yes, exactly. I'm like, no, we don't have to talk for 6 months, but when we talk, it's gonna be like fire. It's gonna be like we spoke yesterday, you know? And I remember I used to brag about it. And then earlier in the year, or mid-year, I met a different friend. A friend who checks up more often, a friend who buys me gifts, a friend who makes plans, you know, so considerate that they're saying, oh my gosh, you have a new book coming, congratulations, I wanna try and get you a cake that has your book cover on it, or a congratulations. Like
just the support.
That, And that's when I realized that, oh my word, wow. I have been settling and I really have been bragging about something that I don't like. I was just familiar with that. I was familiar with friends who check in after 3 months, after 6 months, friends who don't even check in. Sometimes I'm the one who has to reach out. Friends I don't see for so long and there's really no excuse around it. I was so used to that and I thought, this is my kind. These are the friendships that I like. But no, I normalized it. And then something different introduced itself. And now I'm like,
it's a complete shock to the nervous system.
And I'm like, this is what I like. I like this. You know, at first, obviously, it was like, oh my gosh, I really can't text every day. And then I'm like, I'm seeing that, no, this
like, guys, please listen. I'm like, no. I know. There's like, but it's so interesting, this chat that you're bringing up about, because lots of people talk about it like, adulting is all about like we don't see each other in months, and it really, I know that I was operating like that like for a while. I'm like, no guys, we don't need to talk and all of that. But I realized that what we're doing is promoting a culture of people feeling lonely and like anxiety and all of that, and
not having a community to share your life with. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes all you need is to just go out with a friend and talk to them about whatever. You don't even have to talk to them about everything, really. But we all need community. For sure. It is so important.
Sure. I was saying to my friend the other day that like something that I'm finding is a recurring theme is like I feel like with my friends we're constantly meeting up on an update basis. Like I'm updating you on my life and I feel like I don't want to do that anymore. I want to actually have experiences with you, you know, instead of always like when we meet up, oh, so this happened, this happened.
I dated who,
like,
I met this guy,
like
we broke
I
up.
want you to be in it with me and all of that. And like I feel like that has been such a shift completely in the dynamic of our friendship also, because now we speak more often, we hang out more often, and it's like now she's like, oh yeah, do you remember when this happened? And like that's
now
just,
you were there when it happened.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
It's different.
But even on that point, do you think that like we can self-love ourselves out of loneliness and out of desire for companionship and community? Because everyone always just says like, you know, if you're crying on the internet about how lonely you are, they're like, oh girl, you need to love yourself.
You need to love. No. Unfortunately, as a self-love coach, self-love author, I'm big on self-love, but it does not replace any of the other loves that you need. You need the friendship love, you need the family love, you need the relationship love, and they cannot replace each other. And it's important for you to love yourself, because when you do, it's gonna be easy for the next person to come and love you because they are seeing how you love yourself. They are seeing how you treat yourself. They follow the pattern. They follow
The
whatever it is
standard
that you've They follow that standard, And if you don't love yourself, then they come in and they do the same, So when you love yourself, it's also easier for you to pour yourself. You're pouring something into other people's lives as well. That is going to be meaningful. You're not coming into people's lives and just demanding them to make you happy, demanding them to be there for you, and you are just not there, So all these loves are really, I don't know if it's right in English, really. Loves, whatever. Yeah. You get it. Yeah. But they are all important. You could be loving yourself fully and really present within yourself and everything. And maybe you don't have a lover and you really long for that. You long that, okay, I wish there was someone who could love me.
But what do you do with that? Like, you're happy with your life, but you sit in it.
You sit in it. It's
loneliness
uncomfortable.
Is yeah.
It's uncomfortable. And unfortunately, you have to sit in the discomfort. Because if ever you try to say every time you think about it, like, oh, I really wish I had a partner. Say maybe every time you do that, you now text an ex and then you are going back. You see now, if you're trying to patch it each and every time it happens, you're trying to patch
you're actually delaying.
You are delaying. Exactly.
My word.
So you have to accept that loving yourself comes with you longing for someone to love you the same, or to just love you a way a lover has to love you. And be in that discomfort that I wish I had this, but I don't have it. It's fine. It's gonna come someday, whatever. You don't even have to tell yourself anything at that time. Just say, it's fine. I don't need to go back to what the crumbs or whatever, the breadcrumbs that I got from an ex or whatever.
Because that's the thing. Loneliness will convince you that was the best you ever had.
Yes. That's the thing. So really, loneliness is it's a complex emotion.
Yes.
But if you try patch it up each and every time you feel it, then that means that you are afraid of loneliness. And as soon as you are afraid of something, then it has power over you. Because every time it happens, then you are not who you really are. You now quickly look for something, a fix, something to like quickly fix it. And then, but you can't fix.
And these temporary fixes leave long-term damages.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That is, that is deep.
The repercussions.
You will suffer.
Yeah.
You will suffer. You could fix it for now. Hell, if you're lonely, I don't know, watch an episode of Modern Family or something. Pray. Do something. Like just sit in it. I'm telling you, loneliness is an emotion as well. It passes. That's the thing about emotions.
Yes.
It passes. You could literally be feeling lonely this evening, and then maybe you cry, you listen to, or you try and call friends, but you still feel that void. Yeah. You pray, maybe you have your prayer session, you devotion, whatever. You do all these things, and maybe you go to sleep still feeling like that. And then in the morning, it's a totally different day. Now you're feeling different. And then you totally forgot that, I was feeling very lonely. Yes, I was like, I felt like I was depressed. Sure. But now I'm good, and I'm going to meet my friends. I'm going to live in that, And sometimes you wake up and you still have those feelings. That's still fine. Try, see what you can do with how you're feeling. What is it? Do I have a lot on my to-do list today? Can I cut some things out? Can I maybe go out, maybe to a restaurant or whatever? Or do I need to stay in and sulk in it? Whatever feels right for you, as long as you are not getting a temporary fix. Because a temporary fix is going to cause like permanent damage. If you let it go long enough, it's really gonna take you very long to heal from it.
Yeah. I think there are certain people, like even in their loneliness, unfortunately might feel like they are responsible for the loneliness, that people don't like them or they're the problem. Why can't they make friends? Why can't they find a partner? Like, what's going on? And I guess I want to speak to, when you just feel like the world has been letting you down and hurting you, how do you keep your light? How do you even try to convince yourself that you love yourself and all the rest when like your reality feels like
the opposite?
Exactly. How do you even begin that journey of like affirming yourself when it just feels like, why does everything feel like a fight? Why does everything feel so hard? Why am I on God's strongest?
Yeah. Why am I constantly on the list? Why am I constantly recruited? Into the strongest soldiers list? Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I'm gonna speak from the Christian perspective, because
please.
I am a Christian. You know,
Yes.
I'm very big on God, and a lot of our anxiety and everything, it comes from thinking about the future, tomorrow, next week, next year, 5 years from now. And unfortunately, God didn't really bless us with enough gigs or whatever to comprehend the future. That's why in the Bible and in Matthew, I think it's Matthew 7, he says that we shouldn't, or Matthew 6, yeah, it's Matthew 6, where he says, do not be anxious about tomorrow. Today has enough trouble, and tomorrow has a trouble of its own, and you don't have to worry about that. So we don't have to take things from tomorrow and bring them today. This comes back to take things one day at a time. You are seeing that things are really not working out. Everything is like falling apart, and like, oh my God, like even in your head, like everything is really like, you know,
and you're overwhelmed,
and you are overwhelmed, and you just feel like, if this goes on, like, how am I going to be in like a year's time, in 6 months time? Really, that is not your problem. You have no idea what's going to happen. You don't even know if you're going to live until tomorrow. That's the saddest thing ever. And I don't know. Like, you cannot guarantee that you'll be alive in the evening, for example.
Sure.
So that's why there's people who say live every day like it's your last day, because there is no tomorrow.
I remember.
Keep saying,
Sorry to cut you off. I'm remembering of a time I was going through so much. I was on the phone and I was just like, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. And my friend said to me, Zama, you never knew what was gonna happen tomorrow.
Today.
And I just like realized like that's so true. Like you get so panicked and you're thinking like, now what happens and this and that, but you're just like, tomorrow has enough worries of its own. But yeah, sorry.
It has.
Just to take
no, that is an important point. So it comes with taking things one day at a time, and trust that, like, I'm 28 right now. I don't know how many days is that in the world. Let's just say 10,000 days. Yeah, let's, for example, 10,000. Yeah. So for the past 10,000 days, there is none of them where I actually knew and I was 100% certain what was going to happen the next day.
Not a single one.
10, yeah, it's a whole 10,000. So now, okay, now I'm worried about tomorrow. So you see, it's going to be, if you're constantly doing that, then that means you're constantly going to be there. You are never going to be in the present. You're never going to live in the moment. You're never going to see what is currently happening. What are you grateful for now? What's actually working right, you know? Because you're constantly thinking, I don't know if I can't fix this. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. What if all the anxious days, what if all the days you're anxious about never come? What if you never get there? So really try your best to be in the present. It really, even if the present sucks, it sucks sometimes. A lot is not working out. The world is bad, horrible, and everything. But try your best to look at something to smile about, something to be happy about. Like, oh, wow, I woke up and food is able to digest itself in my body.
And we take it for granted.
You take it for granted until you lose it. I saw this reel the other day that there's no one who appreciates health like someone who has lost it. So while you're able to, you wake up, you grumpy, like, it's Monday again. We are so concerned about the little things. Like, something horrible could have happened and you could have lost a leg. You could have lost your eyesight. You could have, you know.
Every time, like, I'm congested and, like, sick and stuff, you know, going to bed is so hard because, like, and I have to breathe through my mouth. And I'm like, I honestly took for granted how, like, the privilege of just being able to sit and breathe, But now when you're, like, sick and stuff, you can't.
You can't.
You can't even
like,
sleep.
I wish I
like,
did that. Exactly.
It's like in the little things.
The little things. Like, if we've shifted our focus completely from making some things a big deal and others, it's a really small deal and stuff, and you really focused on, that's why I really believe in starting your day with God. In the morning, you surrender yourself to God and you ask Him that, help me to be in the present. Just help me to be here today. I don't need to be anywhere else. The past is out of my control. The future, out of my control. But right now, here I am. I can control what's going on here. If I can control it, I can control it. And if it's out of my control, it's in your control. So help me and teach me how to be here. how not to worry. Like each and every time you start worrying about something, you're like, God, please bring me back. Bring me back, because we are never here. And I feel like that is the theme for all my books. Like, it's because it's something that I struggle with as well. I have to consciously choose to be here.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm not here. I'm thinking about the virtual seminar I have. I'm thinking about the interviews I have. I'm thinking I have to go and meet Zama. Oh, I'm going to have to drive to Rosebank. I'm thinking about, all those things, everything that's about to happen.
Yes.
The trip, whatever. I need to run errands. I need to, never here. Like you're having a nice meal, your favorite meal. You're never here like, oh my gosh, I really love this. This meal is so nice. You can't even enjoy it because we are so really consumed with the future, with the past regrets and everything, to the extent that we are struggling to be here. So it takes you being present, you praying about it, because there is no way God the Almighty included in the Bible that don't be anxious about tomorrow if it was that easy for us not to be anxious about tomorrow. He literally had to include it in the Bible because he knows that it's going to be hard for these people to not worry about tomorrow. So that is a reminder that we have to be here.
Yeah.
God is here with me. God is in me. He's here. So I can take on anything. Whatever comes tomorrow, I'll handle it with him. For now, I'm going to be here with him. And that is how you stay present.
And how do you feel like being 28, having published 3 books? Like, are you enjoying it, or are you already thinking about the next one?
Ladder.
Are you sitting in
ladder.
this? Because
Girl,
this is a huge accomplishment. Like,
it is.
Are you even enjoying the fact that you're done? Because I can imagine there were moments where you felt stuck, where you felt like, is this going to get done? And all the...
There were so many moments where I thought, okay, no, this is really going to make a horrible book. No, you know what? I feel like let's cancel, guys. No.
Oh, man.
Let's leave it, Yeah. And reading it, especially who are in the process of doing it, everything alone, it gets easier now when it moves, when you involve the editor.
Yes.
You involve the publisher when you are with a traditional publisher. I think that's one of the best things about it, being traditional published, that you have a team that is reading everything with you, and they don't judge it the way you do. They sort of like read it with the perspective of a reader, because you wrote it, and with your perfectionism habits, it's really kind of hard to like say, yeah. So now with me, I know that there's so many pieces. I'm like, now scratch out. I find, okay, now the book is down to like less than 100 pages because I've been scratching out things, So that is what's hard. But really, you ask the question that, am I living in it? I am trying to live in it. It's not easy. Sometimes I'm mostly thinking about all the things that I still need to do.
For sure.
I'm thinking about the next book signing. Oh, I need to go. As someone who is more, I'm like an introvert and outro as well, So sometimes going out and being like out and about, it really takes a lot from me. I prefer just sitting in my own space, not having to deal with all of that. There's times where I actually wish I was like an anonymous author, so that I can like put the books out there, see how people love them, and just be observing. I tried to do that with this
podcast. I try to be anonymous.
That is what I was like. Okay, it's better if people don't know me, so I can have my space. I don't have to go and sign people's stuff. I don't have to take pictures and stuff. It's like that. But then you're like, oh well, comes with the job. God called me for it. I better do it as best as I can. And I'm doing my best to try and live in the present.
Absolutely.
As I'm still working on learning that I am a work in progress. I'm not a perfectionist. Trying to shift my mind from that, I'm a perfectionist. I'm trying to move it to work in progress. It's going to take very long, because for 28 years, I've just known myself as a perfectionist, So now I'm trying to unlearn all of that. Yeah. I'm trying to see that there's actually more to this life, Being a perfectionist it closes out a lot of things that could be fun for you, that could be adventurous for you, and it just makes you like, what's the man,
Yeah,
so
sure.
So like now I'm learning. Sure. And amazing. Sometimes hearing it from other people that, yo, dude, you're doing so amazing, like 3 books, like, and it's a reminder that, oh, actually, oh, yeah, thanks, man.
But it's huge.
Yeah,
it really is. And congratulations, honestly speaking. I loved it so much. I want to give honestly one of these listeners an opportunity to read the book, to have it. And I think that I should just do a giveaway, honestly speaking.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I feel like, you know what, you guys just need to hear it. You need to read it yourself. Let me think. How can we make it like fun? I think if you just share with me just ways that you've been pouring love back into yourself, treating yourself like someone you love, and kind of just tag me, I guess, on Instagram at zay.mkhize, zay.mkhize, and tag Nolene, and we will pick someone who we just feel like, you know what, he has a book.
Definitely.
You know?
We're going to do that.
Yeah, I want to share your Instagram handle, please.
Okay, it's at NOELENSAID. So Nolene said, basically.
Perfect. So you just share with us ways that you've just been treating yourself like someone you love. And yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for joining. This was too good of a chat. Personally,
I can't believe it's over. It's so
I know,
nice.
time flies.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, but yeah, thank you again. Wishing you just all the success, everything
Thank you
to
so
come.
much,
Oh
Sama.
man. As always, I'm sending my love. Goodbye.
What in the 20s is going
In the
on?
20s,
Think about
yes.
the
The
20s.
20s,
What
baby.
have you been in the
Plenty.
What in the 20s is
I
going
am
on?
here for my
20s, baby. This is the 20s.